Right now, beneath the glossy ads and showroom smiles, a quiet crisis is ripping through the auto world. Names you've grown up with, brands your parents trusted, are staring down extinction. This isn't some distant rumor or Wall Street headline. It's happening on the streets, in neighborhoods like yours. Imagine waking up to find the company behind your car has vanished, leaving you with a vehicle no one wants to buy, service, or trade. Why are so many giants suddenly falling apart? Could your own driveway be hiding a financial time bomb? Which companies are already on life support, quietly hoping you do not notice until it's too late? In this countdown, we uncover the 5 brands you need to worry about now, how to spot the warning signs, protect yourself, and why the final brand will rewrite everything you thought you knew about automotive loyalty. Mitsubishi, once a rally legend, now fading fast. Remember when Mitsubishi was synonymous with speed and innovation? The Lancer Evolution and the Eclipse ruled the streets, turning heads at every corner with their distinctive designs and exhilarating performance. For enthusiasts, these cars weren't just modes of transportation. They were statements of personality, power, and engineering excellence. Owning a Mitsubishi meant you had something special, something that balanced affordability with excitement. Back then, the brand's image was vibrant and dynamic, consistently associated with rally success and cutting-edge technology. However, the Mitsubishi of today is almost unrecognizable from its former self. Once celebrated for its bold moves and innovative spirit, the company now barely holds on to a slim fraction of the market in the United States. Today, Mitsubishi struggles to maintain even 1% of the automotive market share, a shocking contrast to its previous dominance. The model lineup that once boasted rally-inspired sedans and stylish coupes has dwindled to just a few uninspired crossovers and compact utility vehicles. The erosion of Mitsubishi's brand identity is at the heart of this decline. The company once had a clear vision, a robust lineup of sporty, affordable cars with a reputation for reliability. Now it has become increasingly difficult to define what Mitsubishi stands for. The problem goes beyond just shrinking market share. It's a fundamental issue of brand dilution, where the company has seemingly forgotten its core audience. Instead of building on its rally heritage, Mitsubishi has pivoted to producing unremarkable crossovers like the Outlander, which, despite being competent, lacks the charisma that once made the brand stand out. The Outlander remains Mitsubishi's most prominent offering in North America, but even that model struggles to capture the imagination of buyers. The car's design feels dated compared to rivals from brands like Hyundai, Toyota, and Honda. While competitors continuously innovate with hybrid and electric options, Mitsubishi remains firmly stuck in the past, relying on a conventional internal combustion engine that does little to set it apart. The company has attempted to introduce plug-in hybrid variants, but these efforts have been too limited and sporadic to make a significant impact. The sales figures tell a grim story. Over the past decade, Mitsubishi's unit sales have dropped by nearly 50%. Once sprawling dealership networks have been reduced to scattered outposts, particularly in key metropolitan areas where visibility matters most. In some regions, it's becoming increasingly difficult to even find a Mitsubishi dealer. This lack of physical presence not only hurts potential sales, but also damages brand perception. For many potential buyers, Mitsubishi has faded into the background, barely registering as an option when considering a new vehicle purchase. Efforts to revitalize the brand have been inconsistent and often ill-conceived. In an attempt to retain some sense of relevance, Mitsubishi has tried to introduce limited model updates and buyback schemes aimed at reassuring longtime customers. Yet these measures have done little to address the core issue, the lack of a clear and cohesive brand strategy. Without a distinct identity or a strong flagship model, Mitsubishi has been forced into survival mode, focusing on minor tweaks rather than bold innovations. The company's recent strategy has also included partnerships and alliances intended to stabilize its financial footing. These collaborations, however, have often been reactive rather than proactive, aiming to plug holes rather than chart a bold new course. For instance, partnering with other automakers for platform sharing has allowed Mitsubishi to reduce costs, but it has also diluted the brand's uniqueness, making its vehicles feel generic and interchangeable. The real question now is whether Mitsubishi can reinvent itself before it's too late. Some industry experts argue that a return to its performance roots could reignite interest, especially among younger buyers seeking affordable performance cars. Others suggest a complete pivot towards electric vehicles to capitalize on the growing demand for sustainable transportation. Yet, both of these strategies would require significant investment and a willingness to take risks. something the brand has seemingly been reluctant to do in recent years. If Mitsubishi doesn't make a decisive move soon, it risks being remembered solely as a brand that once held potential, but ultimately faded away. The auto industry is unforgiving to those who can't keep pace with consumer demands and technological advancements. At this rate, Mitsubishi may soon find itself joining the long list of once prominent brands that ultimately couldn't survive the relentless pressure of modernization. But stepping away from Mitsubishi's stalled ambitions, Chrysler's journey shows what happens when a brand refuses to adapt to the present. Which brings us to the second brand on our list. See, we've spent hours digging through sales numbers and industry reports, so you can avoid buying into a sinking brand. If you want more honest breakdowns and a real shortcut through the noise, hit subscribe and help us keep bringing you the truth. Chrysler, from iconic to irrelevant. There is no denying that a lot of families relied on its minivans, and car enthusiasts appreciated the bold presence of the Chrysler 300, a sedan that exuded both luxury and performance. It wasn't just a car company, it was an integral part of the American automotive landscape, a brand that evoked pride and tradition. The Chrysler name once stood for innovative design and practical elegance, blending the comfort of a family vehicle with the aesthetics of a premium car. Today, however, the story is markedly different. Chrysler's lineup has dwindled to just one model in the consumer space, the Pacifica minivan. This sharp decline in diversity is emblematic of a brand that has lost its way, struggling to remain relevant in a market increasingly dominated by SUVs and crossovers. The Chrysler 300, once a proud staple of American sedans, now feels out of place amid the shifting automotive preferences. The decline of Chrysler can be traced to a fundamental misalignment with market trends. As consumer tastes evolved, favoring the rugged versatility of sport utility vehicles, Chrysler continued to lean on its aging sedan and minivan offerings, while competitors shifted focus to SUVs and electric vehicles. Chrysler's product development lagged, leaving it increasingly disconnected from buyers' expectations. The failure to adapt has left Chrysler's offerings feeling outdated, stuck in a time when sedans ruled the road. Financial constraints imposed by Stellantis, Chrysler's parent company, have only compounded the problem, with resources being channeled into brands like Jeep and Dodge, both of which are actively developing electric vehicles. Chrysler has seen its budget repeatedly slashed. This lack of investment has left the brand stagnating, unable to innovate or introduce new models that could attract modern buyers. Leadership decisions have also played a crucial role in Chrysler's decline. Stellantis has repeatedly indicated that Chrysler is a low priority within its portfolio, which has resulted in a lack of clear direction or ambitious new projects. While brands like Dodge receive attention for their muscle car heritage and Jeep for its off-road capabilities, Chrysler sits idle, with no clear plan for revitalization. This strategic neglect has eroded what little market presence Chrysler still held, reducing it to a niche brand centered around a single minivan. The situation might have been different if Chrysler had been given the same developmental focus as its sibling brands within Stellantis. Instead, it remains on the periphery, its name slowly fading from the public's automotive consciousness. The Pacifica, despite being a well-reviewed minivan, struggles to compete against more versatile and tech-savvy competitors from Honda and Toyota. Its hybrid version was a step in the right direction, but without a broader electrification strategy, it remains an isolated success rather than a brand-defining innovation. If Chrysler doesn't shift towards electric, or at least diversify its offerings to include more contemporary vehicles, it risks fading into obscurity. A complete overhaul might be the only path forward, but given Stellantis' current priorities, the chances of a resurgence appear slim. The question is whether Chrysler can find a niche in the modern automotive landscape, or if it will be gradually absorbed into other Stellantis divisions. And as Chrysler fades into the background, another brand's ongoing struggle with its own identity takes center stage: Mini. Do you recall when they were the top choice for quirky, compact, and fun cars that effortlessly navigated city streets? From the moment the first Mini Cooper hit the market, it was clear that this was a brand that prioritized character and charm. Mini's vehicles were small, yet spirited, offering an affordable way to stand out from the crowd. Over the years, the brand became synonymous with individuality, attracting drivers who appreciated both the driving experience and the distinct aesthetic. However, recent changes have left many questioning whether Mini still represents what it once did. In an attempt to broaden its appeal, Mini has pursued a strategy of premiumization, introducing larger and more luxurious models that stray far from the original concept. While some saw this as a natural evolution, others felt that Mini was losing the very essence that made it unique. The decision to upscale has not paid off as expected. Sales have dropped by nearly 40% over the last decade, as consumers who once appreciated the brand's simplicity and affordability are now left feeling alienated. Mini's attempt to appeal to a more affluent demographic has not resonated, as those who seek luxury typically opt for more established premium brands. Instead of enhancing its core appeal, Mini's upscale approach has diluted its identity, leading many to wonder what the brand truly stands for today. Problems lie not just in the cars themselves, but in the brand's overall strategy. Traditionally, Mini was known for being affordable and compact. Yet the latest models have grown in size and price. The iconic design, once characterized by its small footprint and playful spirit, now feels bloated and forced. Models like the Countryman and Clubman, meant to introduce versatility, have instead become symbols of an identity crisis. The result is a brand that no longer resonates with those who cherished its original concept. The shift toward larger vehicles might make sense from a practical standpoint, as crossovers and sport utility vehicles dominate the market. Yet, Mini's strength was never in practicality, but in offering something different. By abandoning its quirky, compact nature, the brand has effectively lost what made it stand out. In trying to compete with more mainstream manufacturers, Mini has inadvertently erased its own identity. This identity crisis has been further compounded by BMW's strategic decisions. As Mini's parent company, BMW sought to position the brand within the premium segment, hoping to capture a more affluent customer base. However, BMW's own lineup already dominates the premium compact and mid-size segments, leaving Mini without a clear niche. Instead of creating a distinct luxury experience, Mini has become a confusing blend of nostalgia and upscale aspirations, neither fully satisfying traditional fans nor appealing to luxury buyers. Financially, this strategy has had serious repercussions. While Mini still maintains a loyal but shrinking fan base, overall sales numbers have been in steady decline. In the past year alone, the brand saw a significant reduction in U.S. sales, as buyers increasingly gravitate toward brands that offer clearer value propositions. The high price tags of models like the Countryman make it difficult for consumers to justify the purchase, when alternatives from brands such as Mazda or Hyundai offer more features at a lower cost. BMW's attempt to modernize Mini with electric models has also faced challenges. While the Mini Electric was intended to position the brand within the growing EV market, it has failed to make a significant impact, competing against established electric leaders like Tesla and more affordable alternatives from brands such as Nissan. The Mini Electric feels more like an afterthought than a genuine contender. As a result, it has neither revitalized the brand nor attracted a new wave of buyers. The reality is that Mini's identity crisis is not just about car design. It reflects a fundamental misunderstanding of what made the brand popular in the first place. By trying to blend luxury with compact fun, Mini has ended up alienating both traditional fans and potential new customers. Instead of doubling down on its roots, it has ventured into unfamiliar territory without fully committing to a new identity. Unless Mini returns to its roots, offering compact, affordable, and uniquely fun cars, it risks becoming a forgotten brand. As the automotive market continues to evolve, brands that fail to maintain their core identity risk fading into obscurity. Mini must decide whether it wants to return to its compact car heritage or continue its uphill battle in the premium segment. With Mini's growing pains still fresh, Alfa Romeo enters the narrative with a mix of legacy and persistent mechanical troubles. Alfa Romeo, performance without reliability. From racetracks to city streets, Alfa Romeo has always been synonymous with passion, flair, and a unique driving experience. Owning an Alfa Romeo has often been more than just having a car. It's been about embracing a lifestyle centered around dynamic performance and Italian craftsmanship. For decades, enthusiasts have revered Alfa Romeo for its unmistakable sound, its engaging handling, and the sense of excitement that comes with every ride. Yet, as time has passed, this very passion has turned into a liability, overshadowed by recurring mechanical issues and a reputation for poor reliability. What once drew drivers to the brand is now pushing many away, leaving Alfa Romeo struggling to maintain its footing in a fiercely competitive automotive landscape. Alfa Romeo has always been celebrated for its spirited drives and seductive aesthetics. The Giulia and the Stelvio exemplify the brand's commitment to delivering high-performance, luxury sedans and sport utility vehicles with a distinctive Italian touch. These cars are designed to captivate both the eyes and the senses, blending speed with elegance in a way that only Alfa Romeo can achieve. However, beyond their alluring exteriors and exhilarating drives lies a significant problem that has marred the brand's reputation for far too long. The reality is that Alfa Romeo's cars, despite their undeniable appeal, are often plagued by mechanical problems. Reports of engine failures, transmission glitches, and persistent electronic malfunctions have become all too common, leading to frequent trips to the repair shop. Even the most dedicated Alfa enthusiasts are finding it harder to justify the costs and inconvenience associated with keeping these cars running smoothly. While the excitement of driving an Alfa remains, the prospect of enduring constant repairs has deterred many potential buyers, leaving the brand struggling to expand its customer base. It is not just mechanical reliability that has hindered Alfa Romeo's progress. The brand's positioning within the luxury market has also been a source of confusion. Alfa Romeo's vehicles are undeniably beautiful and thrilling to drive, but they occupy a peculiar space that has not been clearly defined. Competing against well-established German luxury brands such as Bayerische Motorenwerke and Mercedes-Benz has proven challenging, where these brands offer a blend of performance, refinement, and most importantly, reliability. Alfa Romeo has often been perceived as an unpredictable alternative. Looking forward, Alfa Romeo faces a critical juncture. If it does not improve reliability and refine its brand positioning, it risks being relegated to a niche status, admired from afar but seldom purchased. The challenge lies in retaining the brand's essence while addressing the fundamental flaws that continue to haunt it. A more robust commitment to quality control, coupled with a clearer marketing strategy, could help restore confidence. However, without significant changes, Alfa Romeo may remain a passion project rather than a practical choice, leading to further decline. But they are not the only company. In fact, here are some honorable mentions before getting into the last one on our list. Buick, the brand that lost its way. It once stood as a symbol of American comfort and reliability, popular among families and older buyers for its spacious sedans and smooth rides. However, as the automotive landscape shifted toward crossover vehicles and sport utility vehicles, Buick's reputation for building traditional sedans became a liability. Today, the brand's North American lineup mainly consists of crossovers, a far cry from its past dominance. One of Buick's core challenges is its association with an older demographic. Despite efforts to modernize with models like the Encore and Enclave, Buick's appeal remains limited. Younger consumers, drawn to tech-savvy brands, have shown little interest in Buick's more conservative image. Ironically, Buick's strongest market is not the United States, but China, where it is still considered a premium name. If General Motors chooses to prioritize more profitable brands, Buick may quietly fade from the North American market. Infiniti, the lost luxury identity. It was once Nissan's answer to luxury competitors like Lexus, Bayerische Motorenwerke, and Mercedes-Benz. Early on, Infiniti offered stylish sedans and sport utility vehicles that promised luxury at a more accessible price. However, as rivals pushed forward with electric and autonomous innovations, Infiniti remained stagnant. Its identity crisis, caught between mainstream and luxury, has made it hard for the brand to stand out. Compounding Infiniti's problems is the financial instability of Nissan, its parent company. With Nissan itself struggling, there has been little investment in Infiniti's future. Without a clear strategy or innovative new models, the brand risks being cut entirely as Nissan looks to stabilize its core operations. Unless Infiniti can define itself and modernize, it may soon disappear from North America. Dodge, the muscle car dilemma. Dodge has built its brand on muscle and performance. The Charger and Challenger have become symbols of raw power, appealing to enthusiasts who value the thrill of traditional combustion engines. However, with the automotive industry increasingly moving toward electric vehicles and sustainable practices, Dodge's devotion to gas-powered muscle cars is beginning to look outdated. Dodge's core problem is that its identity is so rooted in muscle car culture that it has struggled to adapt to the electric era. The brand has hinted at introducing electric performance models, but these plans feel reactionary rather than strategic. If Dodge continues to rely solely on its nostalgic appeal without a clear plan for electrification, it risks becoming a niche brand rather than a mainstream player. And now, last but not least, Nissan, the biggest fall from grace. Once an industry leader, Nissan's struggles are now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. It was not so long ago that Nissan stood at the forefront of automotive innovation, capturing attention with the Leaf, one of the first practical and affordable electric vehicles for the masses. At a time when most manufacturers hesitated to embrace electrification, Nissan took bold steps and positioned itself as a pioneer. Yet in 2025, the reality is starkly different. Nissan's momentum faded, replaced by poor strategic decisions, missed opportunities, and internal crises. Nissan's early success extended beyond electrification. Throughout the 2010s, models like the Altima, Sentra, and Rogue became household names, known for value, comfort, and reliability. Nissan's ability to deliver innovation without alienating the average driver made it a trusted brand for millions. However, as consumer expectations shifted and competitors introduced more advanced technologies, Nissan struggled to keep pace. The boldness that once defined its product strategy faded, giving way to conservative updates that failed to inspire either critics or consumers. Perhaps the most significant factor in Nissan's decline has been ongoing leadership turmoil, which began with the arrest of a former chief executive officer on charges of financial misconduct. The scandal not only damaged Nissan's reputation, but also left the company without clear leadership. In the years that followed, leadership changes created uncertainty throughout the organization. Instead of pursuing a unified vision, Nissan moved from one short-term fix to another, hampering innovation. Without consistent leadership, the company found it increasingly difficult to navigate a rapidly evolving industry. While internal issues persisted, external pressures also mounted. The global automotive market became more competitive, with companies like Tesla and Hyundai investing heavily in electric vehicles and advanced technologies. Despite its early lead with the Leaf, Nissan did not keep up. Rivals launched electric models with superior range, better technology, and broader appeal. Nissan's lineup, in contrast, remained stagnant, offering only incremental updates rather than transformative changes. As a result, Nissan squandered its advantage, and the Leaf, once a symbol of innovation, came to represent missed opportunities. Financial difficulties soon followed. In Japan, Nissan faced the alarming prospect of near bankruptcy, a scenario unthinkable in the early 2010s. Profit losses reached an astounding 99%, a decline that stunned even industry analysts. While competitors streamlined operations and focused on profitability, Nissan remained burdened by legacy costs and an inefficient global structure. The company's response to financial pressures lacked cohesion, with cost-cutting efforts failing to address underlying strategic flaws. Nowhere is Nissan's struggle more evident than in its dealership network, particularly in the United States. Nissan operates more dealerships than current demand justifies. Instead of downsizing, the company kept locations open, hoping that sales volume would eventually rebound. The result was a surplus of unsold inventory, forcing dealerships to rely on aggressive discounting and incentive programs. These discounts, while boosting short-term sales, slashed profit margins and damaged Nissan's reputation for value. The more the company lowered prices, the more consumers perceived Nissan vehicles as depreciating assets rather than smart investments. This cycle of discounting and devaluation has been difficult to break. Nissan's product strategy also played a role in its decline. While competitors introduced hybrid and electric versions of their flagship models, Nissan continued focusing on conventional gasoline-powered vehicles, often making only minor improvements to design and technology. As the automotive world moved towards sustainability, Nissan's reluctance to fully embrace this shift left it out of step with consumer expectations. Once loyal buyers turned to rivals offering better performance, modern features, and greater resale value. Nissan's slow response to the evolving market made it challenging to attract new customers or retain those it once had. Reliability, once a hallmark of Nissan vehicles, has also become a point of concern. Recent years have seen a rise in complaints about mechanical issues, particularly with transmission failures and electrical system problems. These problems, widely reported by consumers and industry studies, have damaged the brand's reputation. Once a confident choice, Nissan is now often overlooked in favor of competitors with better reliability records. A failed merger with Honda further exposed Nissan's struggles, leaving the company isolated and stagnant at a time when industry innovation is crucial. As the automotive world accelerates toward electrification, Nissan's path forward remains uncertain. To stay relevant, the brand must overhaul its strategy and regain consumer trust through reliability and innovation. Nissan's decline highlights a key lesson. Early success does not guarantee lasting leadership. Staying ahead requires constant innovation and foresight. The automotive landscape is shifting faster than ever, and your next vehicle purchase could either be a savvy investment or a costly mistake. Which of these struggling brands deserves a second chance? Have you owned any of these vehicles, and what was your experience? Drop your story in the comments below and subscribe for our upcoming deep dive on which brands are actually worth your money in 2025. Your wallet might thank you later.